Welcome back with a smiling face. Important note before starting, if you are a fan of audio stories, then our Patreon account is the best platform for you. Join us on Patreon for the best audiobooks ever. Denied by my companion. Blurb. I, Logan Carter, Alpha of the Crescent Moon Pack, reject you, Emma Parker of the Crescent Moon Pack. I could feel my heart breaking. Leon was howling inside me, and I could feel his pain. She was looking right at me, and I could see the pain in her eyes, but she refused to show it. Most wolves fall to their knees from pain. I wanted to fall to my knees and claw at my chest. But she didn't. She was standing there with her head held high. She took a deep breath and closed her wonderful eyes. I, Emma Parker of the Crescent Moon Pack, accept your rejection. When Emma turns 18, she is surprised that her mate is the alpha of her pack. But her happiness about finding her mate didn't last long. Her mate rejected her for a stronger she-wolf. That she-wolf hates Emma and wants to get rid of her, but that isn't the only thing Emma has to deal with. Emma finds out that she is not an ordinary wolf and that there are people who want to use her. They are dangerous. They will do everything to get what they want. What will Emma do? Will her mate regret rejecting her? Will her mate save her from the people around them? This is Book 1 of the White Wolf series. The story is a trilogy. Episode 1. Chapter 1 to 10. Chapter 1 Day Before, Part 1. I woke up early in the morning and got up right away. I was excited. Really excited. Tomorrow is my birthday. Tomorrow I will be 18 and I will meet my wolf. I couldn't wait to shift for the first time. They say it is painful, but I didn't care about that part. It is just for a little while, and it gets easier later. I can survive a little bit of pain. I just wished that my parents were here to see me shift for the first time. It had been 8 years since they died, and it hadn't gotten any easier. They were killed in a rogue attack. Rogues are wolves that don't belong to a pack. They become rogues by being exiled from their packs for committing various crimes. Some of them choose to leave their packs and live like rogues. That is rare, though. We wolves are pack animals. We don't like being alone. When a wolf chooses to become a rogue, it is mostly because something bad has happened to them in their pack or they have lost their mate, gone crazy and left the pack. The rogues live alone. They don't work with other wolves. But when they attacked our pack, they were working together. It was very odd. Since that night, our alpha learned that there is a rogue wolf who has gathered other rogues to attack various packs. They call him the Rogue King. The attacks haven't stopped since. They attacked our and other packs multiple times. On the night of the attack, rogues tried to kill our alpha's son. We were celebrating his 18th birthday and his first shift. He was supposed to start his training to become a new alpha and take over the pack. However, that night, rogues killed his father, our former alpha Luke. He was forced to become an alpha right away. And he did an amazing job. He finished his training early and he made our pack one of the strongest ones. My father was Alpha Luke's beta. He and my mom died protecting Alpha, Luna, and their son. That was their job. After their deaths, my brother Andrew became beta. He and our Alpha were best friends since childhood, and now they run our pack together. My brother is an amazing beta, and an even better brother. He was 17 when our parents died, and after that, he had to take care of our pack and me. He never complained. He took those responsibilities and did the best he could. And he did great. He always made sure I was safe and taken care of. He still does. I finished high school a few months ago, and all I have to do now is train. After the attacks, my brother and our alpha decided that all pack members must train to be able to defend ourselves. The rule in our pack is that we all must go through high school. It is something similar to a human high school, but we learn werewolf and pack history, pack laws, and everything needed to help the pack function properly. For example, if a wolf is interested in working for alpha, he or she will learn a bit more about running the pack. If a wolf is interested in agriculture, he or she will learn about plants and our crops to help sustain our food supplies. If a wolf is interested in defending the pack, he or she will learn about defense techniques, attack formations, and they will have to spend more time training than the rest of us. I chose to help the alpha run our pack. It was natural to me. My brother is the beta and I wanted to help him as much as I could. So, I learned all about pack laws and everything else needed to successfully run our pack. The alpha, beta, and pack healer are the only ones who leave the pack to go train for their positions. They go to different packs where they learn everything needed for their positions in a pack. The training lasts for about a year. Considering our pack was attacked and our former alpha was killed, our new alpha and beta finished their training in only a couple of months. The pack needed them, and it had to be done quicker than usual. I missed my brother when he left, but I knew it was something he had to do. We have to train every day, but tomorrow I get a day off because it is my birthday and my first shift. It is a special occasion. The first shift is important because you get to meet your wolf, and your mate. Mates are important in wolf culture. A mate is your special someone, picked by our moon goddess. It is the connection of two souls. Your mate becomes the most important thing to you. You love them instantly. You want and need to be with them and protect them. My brother still hasn't found his mate. And neither did our alpha. So, until he does, his mother, Gloria, still has the Luna title and does the Luna duties. She had a hard time after her mate, our former alpha, passed away. She almost didn't make it. She didn't eat, sleep, or do anything. That is what happens when you lose your mate. Your will to live goes away. However, she recovered, and she is an amazing Luna. I love her a lot. She helped me and my brother after our parents died, and she and I have a special relationship. She is like a mother to me. I asked her to be present for my first shift. She accepted and gave me a big hug. It is a big deal to be present for a wolf's first shift. At least in our pack. Each pack has its own tradition, but in ours, only the wolves you choose get to witness your first shift. And it was an honor to be chosen. I chose my brother, Luna Gloria, and my friends Amy and Jacob. They were all honored and excited for me. I couldn't wait to shift. It will be amazing. And maybe I will be luckier than my brother and meet my mate soon. I had to go to training soon, so I brushed my teeth, took a quick shower and got dressed. I put on my black tights, training bra, grey hoodie, and my black Nike sneakers. I tied my long brown hair into a ponytail and went downstairs. Chapter 2 Day Before, Part 2. I was unpleasantly surprised when I came downstairs. Sienna was standing in my kitchen looking at me like she wanted to kill me. She is my brother's and Alpha's best friend. She is 25, just like my brother and Alpha, and she has been hanging out with them since childhood. Now, she is clinging on to them like they are a lifeboat. She was devastated when she found out that neither my brother nor Alpha were her mates. That didn't stop her from trying to become Luna. She is always around Alpha, proving herself and trying to convince him to take her as his chosen mate. Werewolves can do that. If their mate dies or they don't find their true mate, they can take a chosen one. It is frowned upon, especially in our pack, because we take mates very seriously. Most packs do, actually. But some have a milder attitude toward chosen mates. Sienna was tall, blonde, and perfect. Her makeup was always on point. Her hair was always combed and styled to perfection. But she destroyed all that with the way she behaved. She was mean and disrespectful. She hated me and treated me like I was trash. But only when we were alone. When we were around my brother or Alpha, she was a totally different person. She was nice to me, and she once told my brother that I was like a little sister to her. Yuck! I tried telling my brother about her, but he didn't believe me. He told me I was jealous of her and how much time they spent together. Sienna, I said coldly and grabbed a mug from a cupboard. Good morning, ugly, she said and smirked. It must be good to sleep as long as you do. Maybe you should try it too. I said as I poured coffee into my mug. You need as much beauty sleep as you can get. I turned towards her with a smirk on my face. She said through her teeth. I will become Luna soon and I will exile you so soon you will not be able to blink. She always did this. She threatened to exile me when she would become a Luna. I knew she would actually do it, and I could only hope she didn't become a Luna. I wanted to say something back, but I heard the front door open. My brother and our Alpha walked into our kitchen. Sienna quickly put on the biggest fake smile on her face. I rolled my eyes. How didn't anybody see how fake she was? Good morning, little one, my brother said and kissed my forehead. That was his favorite nickname for me. I was small, smaller than any wolf my age, and he liked to point that out. Especially because he was huge. 6'4", and had muscles all over his body, just like Alpha. We looked a lot alike. We both had brown hair and bright blue eyes. He was more tan than me, though. I inherited my mom's pale complexion. I was out in the sun all the time, but I couldn't seem to get tanned. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Logan. I said and smiled. I get to call Alpha by his first name only in the privacy of our homes. On other occasions, I must refer to him as Alpha. Or Alpha Logan. Sienna didn't like that. She gave me an I will kill you look over their shoulders. Good morning, Emma. Logan said as he sat at our kitchen table. What are your plans today, Em? Andrew asked as he poured coffee for himself and Logan. Nothing much. I responded. I have a training session in an hour and then I will just hang out with Amy and Jacob. Tomorrow is your first shift. Are you excited? Logan asked me and took his coffee mug from my brother. Yes. I said and smiled brightly. I can't wait to meet my wolf. Maybe you will find your mate, Emma. Sienna said coldly. And maybe we will lose you to him tomorrow. She gave a fake sad look to my brother. Goddess, they were so blind if they didn't see through her act. Don't worry, Sienna, my brother said. She will always be our little sister. No mate will take that away from us. I wanted to scream and throw up. She was not my sister. She couldn't wait to get rid of me. But I couldn't say anything, so I just gave him a fake smile. After your shift, you can start working at a pack house. Logan said. You went to high school to work at the pack office, right? I did. I said and smiled. I can't wait to start working. Good. Logan said and smiled. He was handsome, even more when he smiled. And that was rare. He was usually very serious and focused only on his job as an alpha. He always did what's best for his pack. That was why he was so successful. He was as tall and as muscular as my brother. Maybe even more. The alpha and beta of the pack were always the strongest wolves. And it always showed. You could always see who alpha and beta were. He had dark blonde hair and green eyes. His jaw and his nose were chiseled perfectly, and his lips looked soft. He was hot. No wonder Sienna was all over him. She drooled after my brother as well, but being Beta's mate wasn't good enough for her. Although, if my brother took her as his chosen mate, she would accept that as well. She was only after the title and power. Too bad they couldn't see that. A doorbell interrupted my thoughts. Jacob was here. Chapter 3 Day Before, Part 3. Is that Jacob? My brother asked. I nodded and put the mug in the dishwasher. I will see you tonight. Goodbye, Logan. Sienna, I said and gave my brother a kiss on the cheek. Logan smiled at me, and Sienna gave me a cold stare. I walked out of the kitchen and opened the front door. My friend Jacob was standing there, smiling at me. I always had a crush on him. I still do. He is handsome, tall, muscular, and has black hair. His dark brown eyes look like a pool of chocolate. And I love chocolate. Sometimes I wish he would be my mate. We would be great together, and I know he likes me. He told me himself. We never dated or even talked about it. We saved ourselves for our mates. It isn't forbidden to have sex with others, but it is frowned upon, mostly by our pack elders. The rest of the pack agrees that we should wait for our mates but turns away when they see someone dating outside of a mate bond. Not all of us saved ourselves for our mates, though. I know for a fact that my brother and Logan had their share of she-wolves. I think Logan even slept with Sienna, which only added to her belief that she would be his Luna. Jake and I never talked about it, but I think he slept with some she-wolves as well. Jacob is 22, but he still hasn't found his mate. So maybe he is mine and I am his. I will not be happy to know that he slept around if he is my mate, but I don't want to hold his past against him. Good morning, beautiful, he said and gave me a kiss on the cheek. Morning, Jake. I said and closed the front door. Are you excited? He asked and took my hand in his. Yes, I am. I said with a big smile on my face. I can't wait to shift. It will be amazing, he said. You will be amazing. I am really honored that you asked me to be there. Of course, I did. I said. You and Amy are my best friends. I want you there. Maybe I will be something else to you as well, he said and winked. I laughed. Maybe you will. We walked over to the training grounds together. Amy was already there, waiting for us. She is a year older than me, and we met at high school. She introduced me to Jacob. They are cousins. She and Jacob look a lot alike. She has the same black hair as he does. Her eyes are a little bit lighter than his, though. Well, if it isn't my two favorite wolves, she said and smiled brightly. Hello, Amy. Jake said and gave her a kiss on her cheek. She gave me a big hug. I can't wait to meet your wolf tomorrow, Emmy. Our wolves will be best friends, I just know it. Just like we are. Oh, I am sure Alora will love my wolf. I said with a huge grin. Our wolves have their own names. Amy's wolf is named Alora, and Jake's is named Jared. I can't wait to learn my wolf's name. Enough chit-chatting, girls. Time to train. I will see you later. Jake said and walked over to his training ground. Jacob works as a patrol wolf, so he trains harder and differently than us. Patrol wolves train separately from the rest of us. Amy works at a greenhouse. She is amazing with plants. Jacob and I sometimes trained together. He taught me a little bit about what they do at their training sessions. He said he wanted me to know as much as possible to be able to defend myself. He wanted me safe. After an hour and a half, we were done with our daily training session. Jake still had an hour left, so Amy and I went home to shower and change. We would meet at a diner we always went to. When I came home, Andrew was not there. He is out dealing with pack stuff. Being a beta is not like other jobs when you work from 9 to 5. There is always something to do. Especially when your alpha is Logan. I quickly showered and changed into a pair of jeans, a white sweater and my black Converse sneakers. I dried my hair and let it fall down to my waist. When I came to the diner, Amy was already sitting at our usual booth. "Hey, lady," she said. "You look amazing." "Thank you." I smiled. "Not as amazing as you do." She is gorgeous, tall, skinny but with curves in all the right places and totally confident. All the boys want her. "So, tomorrow is a big day," she said, sipping her chocolate milkshake. "Yes. I am so excited. Maybe Jake will be your mate and we will be family," she said with a big smile on her face. "I would love that," I said. "You know I love Jake. He would be a great mate. And he is totally in love with you," she laughed. "Most boys are, actually." "What are you talking about?" I said and frowned. The waitress brought me my strawberry milkshake, and I thanked her before taking a sip. "It is amazing." "Come on, Emma," she said and rolled her eyes. "You are beautiful and hot. I can't believe you never noticed the looks you are getting. It makes Jake totally jealous. I always thought they were looking at you," I said and smirked. Amy laughed. "Well, they do. But I am not the only one they are looking at." I blushed and looked down at my hands. "Well, I don't care. I will wait for my mate. And here he comes," Amy said and pointed at the door. Jake was walking in. He gave us a big smile and walked over to our booth. He sat down beside me and kissed my cheek. "Hey, girls. What are we talking about?" he asked. "Mates," Amy said with a huge grin on her face. "I can't wait to revisit that topic tomorrow," Jake said and winked at me. I laughed and blushed. "Okay, stop making me blush." Jake laughed and pinched my cheek. "Why? There is no prettier sight." "Okay, lovebirds. Enough," Amy said and laughed. "Emma, when are we meeting tomorrow?" "Well, I will have lunch with my brother and spend the day with him, and we will meet at the shift site at 8 p.m. I said. My brother and I have a tradition of spending our birthdays together. No other people. Just him and me. We always have breakfast and lunch together. After that, we watch a movie and eat as much cake as we can. I love our tradition." "Great. I can't wait to see if your wolf will be as small as you," Amy said and laughed. Jake joined her as I glared at them. "You? Oh, come on, Emmy," Jake said laughing. "We love how small you are." I frowned but joined their laughter. We spent the rest of the day talking, laughing, and making plans for our first run together. It was late when I came home, but Andrew was still out. I quickly showered, put on my pajamas, and got under my covers. I can't wait to see what's to come tomorrow. Chapter 4:18. "Good morning, Emma." I turned towards the door to greet my brother, but nobody was standing there. I am alone. But whose voice was that? "It is me, silly. Your wolf." I flinched. Of course, it is my birthday. I got my wolf today. It is weird, though, to hear a voice inside my head. You will get used to it. A voice said. It will take some time. I responded. We have all the time in the world. My wolf said. What is your name? I asked her. Eliza. I like it. I told her. I know you do, Emma. Now, get up and go spend the day with your brother. Asher has already sensed my presence, and he can't wait to meet me. She said. I got up excited and full of energy. I can't wait to see Eliza. I brushed my teeth, showered, and put on sweats and a hoodie. Perfect for a lazy birthday day with my brother. When I came downstairs, Andrew had already made pancakes. It was our traditional birthday breakfast. Happy birthday, Emma, he yelled and gave me a big hug. Asher sensed Eliza. He is so excited to finally meet his sister. She can't wait to meet him too. I said and gave him a big smile. I adore Asher. He is the best wolf there is. Come on, let's eat, he said and pulled me to the table. After we were full, we went to the living room to start our first movie of the day. We always watched the Avengers series. Humans did a great job on those movies. At around 1 p.m., Andrew and I went to the kitchen to start making lunch. On my birthday we have my favorite meal, lasagna. On his birthday, we have his favorite meal, pizza. I started making the lasagna while Andrew sat down at the kitchen table. Maybe you will find your mate soon, he said. Maybe. I said, not looking up at him. I don't like talking to him about this. He is my brother, and talking about mating is weird. And I don't want to leave him, ever. It will be really hard for me to leave with my mate. Maybe it will be Jacob, he said. I looked up at him. Would you be okay with that? Yes, he said and shrugged. He is one of our best warriors, so I know you would be safe with him. And I know you like him already. It would be easier for you to go with him. I walked over and sat beside him. It won't be easy for me to leave. No matter who my mate is. You are my family. I don't want to leave you. I know, he said and smiled. I don't want you to leave. But if you find your mate you will. And we will be okay. Maybe I won't find him. I said and got back up. You never did. Yes, he nodded. But I have a pretty good feeling you will, and it will be Jacob. I smiled and rolled my eyes. We will see. He got up and helped me finish our lunch. After we ate, we went back to the living room to watch another movie. At around 7 p.m., Andrew told me to go and get ready. We had to walk for about 20 minutes to reach the shifting site in the forest. It is a small clearing in the middle of the forest where all wolves go for their first shift. It is special because it is the only place in the forest where the moon can shine on you completely. Our forest is so thick that moon can barely shine through the trees. The clearing is the only place it shines freely. I put on my white dress, chosen especially for this night. It is tradition to wear white on the night of our first shift. I put on my shoes and went back downstairs. Andrew was waiting for me at the door. He handed me my jacket and we left the house. My heart was pounding in my chest. Andrew probably heard it because he grabbed my hand and pulled me closer to him. Don't be scared, Emma, he said quietly. It will be amazing. And I will be there for you. Thank you. I said. I love you. I love you too, little one, he said and gave me a side hug. After about 20 minutes, we arrived at the clearing. My friends and Luna Gloria were already there, waiting for us. Luna approached me first. Happy birthday, sweetie. I can't wait to meet your wolf. Thank you, Aunt Gloria. She is excited to meet you too, I said with a big smile. Amy and Jacob came towards me with big smiles on their faces. Happy birthday, Emmy. Amy said and gave me a tight hug. Happy birthday, Emma. Jake said and kissed my cheek. Now, let's meet your wolf. It is cold and I don't want you to get sick. He is right. It is December and the only thing I am wearing is a dress. I do have a jacket, but it is not keeping me warm. The only reason I am not shivering is excitement. He is right, Emma. Andrew said. Give me your jacket and stand in the middle of the clearing. I did what he said and stood in the middle of the clearing. They all gave me an encouraging smile and turned around to give me some privacy to remove my clothes. I carefully removed my dress, underwear, and shoes and folded them neatly into a pile. I stood back up and looked up at the moon. Are you ready, Emma? My wolf said. I am. I responded. How do I do this? Just let go. It will hurt. But don't fight it. It will be over soon. Let go and give me control. She said. I did what she said. I took a deep breath and let her take control of our mind and body. I started to feel my bones break. I let out a little scream and fell down on my knees. That's right, Em. I heard my brother's voice. It will be okay. Just let go. The pain was unbearable. It was like breaking all of your bones at the same time. I fought the urge to throw up and focused on letting go of my control. Chapter 5 The First Shift. A few moments later, I was standing on all fours, my white fur shimmering under the moonlight. I took a deep breath and lifted my head proudly. My friends and family turned around and gasped. She is white. Luna Gloria said. I looked at her and cocked my wolf head. Is that something special? We are a pure white wolf, Emma. Nobody is a pure white wolf. Eliza said. What do you mean? I asked her. There are white wolves. I have seen them before. Yes. But none of them are pure white. She said proudly. They all have a spot in a different color, or their paws are different. We are all white. What does that mean? Amy asked quietly. I don't know, my brother said, not taking his eyes off of my wolf. But she is beautiful. She is. Jacob said quietly. I looked at him and immediately felt disappointed. No sparks. No connection. He is not my mate. We are not his. Eliza said. We belong to somebody else. What do you mean, Eliza? I asked, surprised. Do you know who our mate is? I do. She said. You will know soon. Who is he? I asked. How do you know? It isn't common for a wolf to know who his or hers mate is. They only know when they see them. But not before. What is going on? I am not talking to you about it. Eliza said. Now, stop thinking about this and focus on your friends and family. Andrew is trying to mind link you. I pulled my focus away from our conversation and focused on my brother's voice inside my head. Now that I shifted, I can mind link the entire pack. Emma? He called me. Emma, can you hear me? Yes. I responded. Sorry, I was talking to Eliza. You are beautiful, Emma. He said proudly. Do you want to go for a run? Yes. I said with excitement in my voice. My brother told the rest of the group to shift, and we all went for a run. Eliza met all the wolves, and I could tell she loved them all. And they loved her. Especially Asher. He was attentive and careful with Eliza, just like Andrew is with me. When I had enough, I mind-linked Andrew to tell him to go back. All the excitement and nervousness got to me, and I was tired. We got back to the clearing and took our clothes into our mouths. We all went behind a tree to shift and change. Shifting back hurt as well, but not like the first time. Each time we do this, it will be easier. Eliza said. After a while, it won't hurt at all. I walked back to the clearing, and my friends and family were already there. They hugged me and gave me a lot of kisses. They are proud of me and happy that I finally have my wolf. Nobody mentioned that I am a pure white again, so I just decided to forget about it. It is nothing special. I am nothing special. Luna Gloria left first. We stayed at the clearing for a while, just chatting and laughing. After a few minutes, we started walking back. Jacob walked beside me, and Andrew and Amy were in front of us. So, we are not mates, he said with sadness in his voice. I guess not. I responded, not looking up at him. That doesn't mean we can't be, he said. I would choose you as my mate. I love you, Emma. I looked up at him, surprised. But before I could say anything, my brother interfered. Jacob, no, he said strictly. At least not yet. I know you love my sister, but she is only 18 and there is a chance she will meet her true mate. If she doesn't in a few years, and if you don't find your mate by then, you can make her your chosen mate. If she wants to get a chosen mate. But not before she has had a chance to find her true mate. I looked between Andrew and Jacob. Jacob wanted to fight, but he knew my brother was right. I love Jake, but I deserve a chance to find my true mate. After a few seconds of Andrew and Jake just glaring at each other, Jacob nodded and lowered his head. You are right, he said quietly. But I will wait for her. I am sorry, Jake. I said and took his hand in mine. You have nothing to be sorry about, he said and gave me a small smile. Amy was quiet the whole time, but I could tell she was sad. She really hoped Jake and I would be mates. We continued our walk through the forest, and soon we were back at our house. Jake and Amy said their goodbyes and went home. Andrew and I went back inside the house, and I looked at my watch. It was 10 p.m. Hey, do you want to watch another movie? It is not too late. Andrew asked and took my jacket to put it away. I would, but I am so tired. I said. He smiled. Yeah. The first shift will do that to you. I will just go to bed. I said. Thank you for today. I loved it. I loved it too, little one, he said with a big smile. Asher and I love your wolf. We love you too. I said and smiled. I walked upstairs, and Andrew went to the living room. I hopped in the shower and put on my pajamas. I got under the covers and closed my eyes immediately. I don't think I slept long when I was awoken by a loud knock on our front door. Chapter 6 Mate. I looked at my watch and saw that it was 11 p.m. Who was here this late? I removed the covers and went toward my bedroom door. I opened them in time to hear my brother's voice. Logan, he said. What are you doing here? Where is she? Where is Emma? Logan asked nervously. His voice was the most amazing sound I have ever heard. It was like music to my ears. What was wrong with me? It never sounded like that before. It must have been because I was tired. But he sounded cold, Rushed. I didn't know why he was asking for me, but I had a feeling that I was in trouble. But I didn't do anything wrong. Emma, my brother asked. She is sleeping. Why? I could hear surprise and confusion in his voice. I started walking toward the stairs and was instantly hit with the most amazing smell, pine needles and snow. It smelled like a winter forest. Mate! Eliza screamed in my head. What? I asked and froze. It is Logan, Emma. He is our mate. Go to him. Eliza said, excited. Logan? The Alpha? He is my mate? I am a Luna? I had a million questions in my head. My feet started moving against my will. It was like something was pulling me downstairs. Well, not something. The mate bond. Wake her up. Logan growled. Now. He sounded mad. Why was he mad? I am awake, I said and started walking down the stairs. I stopped in the middle to look at Logan. Everything shifted when I looked into his eyes. He was now the center of my world. He was everything. I felt this incredible need to touch him, to be in his arms. I wanted to run to him, but I stopped myself when I saw how cold his stare was. What was going on? Logan, my brother called him. She is my mate. Logan said through his teeth. My brother gasped and looked up at me. I nodded and looked back at Logan. He was standing there looking at me with a cold expression on his face. His fists were clenched, and his posture was rigid. He didn't want me. That's why he was so angry. I was not good enough to be his Luna. Emma. Andrew called my name. Go to your room. Now. He must have seen how angry Logan was and wanted to talk to him about this. I turned away and walked back upstairs. But there was no way I was going back into my room. I wanted to hear what Logan would say. I had a feeling I knew, though. I heard them walking to the kitchen, and I sat at the top of the stairs. I would be able to hear them talk and, hopefully, they would be focused on their conversation and would not be able to hear or sense me. I just had to be very quiet. I hugged my knees and waited. Talk, my brother said coldly. How did you know before you even saw her? I don't know. Logan sighed. I could sense and smell her. It happened about an hour ago. At first, I thought I was going crazy, but then I decided to follow that smell. I knew for sure when I came closer to your house. Leon started going crazy. That is weird, my brother said. Mates usually know when they see each other. They can't sense it before. I know. But I did. Logan growled. My brother sighed. Why are you angry? She can't be my Luna, Andrew. Logan said. My heart broke. I hugged my knees even tighter. I felt warm tears running down my cheeks. Nothing hurts like your mate's rejection. What? Why? My brother asked angrily. She is a child. Logan said. She is not strong enough to be a Luna. I need someone stronger. You are kidding me, right? My brother yelled. You are going to throw away goddess gift because you don't think she is strong enough. It is for the pack. Logan said calmly. You know our pack needs strong leadership. Especially now that rogues are attacking even more frequently. Alpha is always stronger when he has his Luna by his side, my brother growled. He is. And I will have my Luna. Logan said. I am thinking about taking Sienna as my chosen mate. My heart stopped beating. He was choosing another she-wolf instead of me. And not just any wolf. Sienna. She wanted to get rid of me. And she will. She will become a Luna and she will exile me from my pack. Maybe she will even kill me when she finds out I am Logan's true mate. Why didn't you already do that if you think she will be a great Luna? My brother asked angrily. I wanted to wait for my true mate. Logan answered. To see if I was gifted with a strong she-wolf. But now that I see that is not the case, I can freely choose somebody else. I can't believe this, my brother said quietly. You know I am right, Andrew. Logan said. You know that you, me, and Sienna will be great leaders, and the pack will benefit greatly from our leadership. We can't do that with your sister. She is only 18. My brother said nothing, and I think he agreed with Logan. He thought that I was not strong. I didn't think my heart could break even more. I've heard enough. I got up and walked to my room. My heart was breaking into a million tiny pieces. I didn't think that I would ever be able to put it back together. And he hasn't officially rejected me yet. I didn't know how I would survive when he does. Mates can reject each other. It doesn't break the bond, though. Nothing does. It is only words. But it lets you know that your mate doesn't want you, and it is horrible. The bond is alive, but you can't do anything about it. Being exiled by Sienna and becoming a rogue suddenly didn't sound so bad. It was better than staying here, watching them together. It would kill me slowly. Eliza. I called my wolf. Are you okay? No, Emma. She whined. I am in pain. I know. I said. I am sorry. His wolf wants us. She whined. Leon wants us. It is Logan who is fighting the bond. I didn't respond and I felt her going further back in my mind. I didn't think I would hear from her again tonight. She needed to heal. I couldn't stay here. I couldn't see my brother. I couldn't see him. I quickly put on my tights, a hoodie, and sneakers. I grabbed a jacket from my wardrobe and opened my window. My room was on the second floor, but there was a roof just underneath it. I always sneaked out this way when my brother forbade me from going out with Amy. He never caught me. I hoped that tonight would be the same. I carefully climbed out onto the roof and made my way down. I had to be really careful not to make any noise. I was in a house with an alpha and a beta werewolf. Their hearing is even better than other werewolves. I just hoped they were still talking and focused on their conversation. I climbed down and started walking toward the forest. There was a cave nearby where Amy, Jake, and I always went to hang out when we wanted to be alone. I needed to go there and think. Chapter 7 Rejection. Logan POV. I wanted to reject her on the spot. But when I saw her standing there on the stairs, I couldn't do it. I couldn't say those words. I saw that she was happy when she looked at me. She wanted to go to me. But she saw my cold stare and she stopped herself. Goddess, she is beautiful. I always thought that she was pretty and hot, but now that she is my mate, she is even more beautiful than before. She smelled like strawberries and watermelon. Her long brown hair was falling freely down her back and her blue eyes were an ocean I want to swim in. Her lips were perfect. Her small body was perfect. Every curve was made for me. I just wanted to touch her. I clenched my fists to stop myself. I shut Leon out completely because he would kill me for what I was about to do. He was so happy when we smelled her. I don't want him to see this. I will deal with him later. I was relieved when Andrew told her to go upstairs. I will be able to think clearly now that she is not here. I could tell Andrew was not happy with my explanation. But he knows I am right. He knows that the pack always comes first. And his sister is a child. She just shifted today. She can't control her wolf properly and she can't fight in wolf form. The rogues would use her against me, and that would ruin the pack. I needed a strong Luna. Sienna would be a great Luna. She is strong and kind. Our pack would benefit from having her as a Luna. Andrew. I called him after he didn't respond. He muttered. You are right. Sienna is strong and she would be a great Luna. But that doesn't mean my sister couldn't get stronger. It doesn't. I agreed. But we don't have the time to train her, to make her stronger. Rogues would use her as a liability against me, and the pack would suffer. You know I am right. He nodded and ran his hand through his hair. Do you want to tell her now? He asked me. I nodded. Yes. It doesn't make sense to wait. Fine, he said. I will go get her. I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself. I couldn't get distracted by the bond. By her. I needed to do this, for my father and for my pack. It will not sever the bond. Nothing does. I will still feel her, she will still be my mate, but I will be free to make Sienna my Luna. I heard Andrew yell and I immediately ran upstairs. Her smell was so intoxicating up here. I couldn't help but to breathe it in deeply. What happened? I asked Andrew. He left her room, but she wasn't with him. She left, he growled. I froze and my heart started beating painfully. She left. She probably heard us and left. What if something happened to her? I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't live without her. Leon. I called my wolf. Can you feel our mate's wolf? Is she okay? No, he growled at me. Her wolf is in pain. She retracted far back in mate's mind. I can't feel her. You are a complete, Logan. Leon growled. Mate is perfect and strong. You will be sorry for what you did. I didn't respond, and I pushed him to the back of my mind. I didn't need that now. He is an animal. He reacts purely on instinct. And his instinct is to get his mate. I have to be the one to think rationally and think about our pack. Andrew ran past me and went downstairs. He grabbed his jacket and ran through the front door. I followed him in a daze. Come on, Logan, he growled. Follow her scent. Where did she go? I focused on him and did what he told me to do. Her scent was the strongest underneath her bedroom window, and it continued toward the forest. Andrew muttered. We hurried towards the forest, and I told him where to go based on the intensity of her scent. It wasn't hard to follow her, so it couldn't be long since she walked this path. Suddenly, her scent just stopped. I couldn't smell her anymore. It was like she just disappeared. My heart stopped beating. What's wrong? Andrew asked. I can't smell her anymore. I said quietly. The smell is completely gone. He yelled. She used masking spray. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath to calm myself. She is okay. I would have felt if something happened to her. Emma. Andrew yelled. Leon. I called my wolf. I know you are mad at me, but I need you to try and talk to her, wolf. Tell her to come back. I will. He growled. But not because of you. I want mate to be safe. Leon will try to talk to her, wolf. I told Andrew. If something happens to her, I will kill you. Alpha or not, he growled at me. He was the only one who can say something like that to me. If he wasn't my best friend, he would be dead already. She is okay, Andrew, I said. I would feel if something happened to her. What if she decided to leave the pack? Hey, he growled. To become a rogue because she heard her mate, the one person who should love her unconditionally, say that she is not strong enough to be his mate and Luna. I didn't do that. Not yet anyway, a voice said from the forest. Andrew and I turned towards the sound. Emma leaned against the tree. I let out a breath I had been holding. She is okay. She was wearing tights that let me see her legs perfectly. Her face was even more beautiful than it was back at the house. How is it possible for someone to become even more beautiful in a matter of minutes? I had to use all my strength not to go to her and make her mine. If I was a regular wolf and not an alpha, I don't think I would be able to do that. Andrew ran towards her and hugged her. I got jealous. I wanted to do that. But I knew I couldn't. I had to be strong. Goddess, Emma. Andrew yelled. Don't ever do that again. She didn't hug him back. She stepped away from him and looked at me. You are here to reject me, right? She said quietly. Come on, do it. Let's get this over with. Andrew and I shared a confused look. How is she so calm? So strong? I looked back at her, and she was staring at me with her head held high. I took a deep breath and walked closer to her. You know why I have to do this? I do, she nodded. I heard everything. I nodded and ran my hand through my hair. Every part of me was screaming at me not to do this. Leon clawed his way to the front of my mind to see his mate, and he was growling and whining. I didn't want to do this. I wanted her. But I had to. For my pack. I took a deep breath and looked directly into her wonderful eyes. I, Logan Carter, Alpha of the Crescent Moon Pack, reject you, Emma Parker of the Crescent Moon Pack. I could feel my heart breaking. Leon was howling inside me, and I could feel his pain. She was looking right at me, and I could see the pain in her eyes, but she refused to show it. Most wolves fall to their knees from pain. I wanted to fall to my knees and claw at my chest. But she didn't. She was standing there with her head held high. She took a deep breath and closed her wonderful eyes. I, Emma Parker of the Crescent Moon Pack, accept your rejection. I closed my eyes and felt tears running down my cheek. When I opened them, she was gone. The bond was still here. Nothing has changed. I felt the same way toward her. I still wanted her. But I just opened the door for me to mate with another she-wolf. Chapter 8 Coping. Emma POV. I never thought I could feel this much pain and survive. My whole body is trembling, and my soul is in pieces. There is a huge hole in my heart, and I don't think I will ever be able to fix it. My mate doesn't want me. I am not good enough. My brother thinks I am weak. My mate rejected me. He will have a new Luna, and I will have to look at them every day. I don't know how I came home. I don't remember the path. Pain clouded my vision. I left Logan and Andrew in the forest, and I just started running away. I couldn't go back to the cave. I didn't want them to find it. It would mean that I wouldn't be safe there anymore. We always used masking spray before coming into the cave. But Andrew and Logan came close to finding it. I guess it was because of the mate bond. Logan could smell me better. I started walking to my room. I shut the door and locked it. I didn't want to see my brother. I didn't want to talk to him. I wanted to be alone. I laid on my bed and stared at the ceiling. I just wished I could feel numb. Not happy. I didn't think I would ever be happy again. The best I could have hoped for was numbness. Maybe I would be able to achieve that. Maybe the pain would burn through my body tonight, and in the morning, there would be nothing left but numbness. Like poison. It burns, destroys, and leaves. I heard my brother opening the back door and running upstairs. He tried to open my bedroom door. "Emma," he called me. "Emma, open the door, please." I stayed silent. I didn't want to talk to him. "Emma, please," he said. "Let me explain." There was nothing to explain. I was a weak, small she-wolf, who could never be good enough to be a Luna. Or Logan's mate. Andrew tried to talk to me a few more times, but he gave up when I refused to answer. I heard him sigh and walk away. I continued to stare at the ceiling. What a way to end a birthday! My day started full of excitement, love, and new beginnings, only to end in pain and misery. I never thought it would happen like this. I stayed up all night staring at the ceiling and wishing the pain would go away. It sort of worked. By the time I was supposed to get up and go get breakfast, the pain was better, bearable. Maybe I could tell that a small part of me was numb. That was a start. I heard my brother wake up. He walked downstairs to the kitchen and started making breakfast. Half an hour later, I heard Sienna coming. A little while after, Logan arrived as well. It was tradition for them. They always met at our house, had breakfast, and then they went and done their alpha and beta duties. Sienna just went around to everybody. But soon she would have Luna's duties. I looked at my watch and saw that I had to be at the training ground in an hour. I decided to get ready and get there early. I couldn't stand being in the same house as them. I got up and hopped in the shower. I quickly got dressed and tied my hair in a ponytail. I looked in the mirror and my lack of sleep was clearly visible on my face. I sighed and unlocked my bedroom door. I decided to leave through the back door, so I didn't have to see anybody. But my brother heard me. "Emma," he called me and came running from the kitchen. I stared at him blankly. "Where are you going?" he asked me. "Training grounds," I said quietly. "It is early," he said. "And Jacob is not here yet." There was a loud growl in the kitchen. "Logan." I ignored it and put my focus back on my brother. "I want to get there early today." "Oh. Okay," my brother said nervously. "But you didn't eat anything." "I am not hungry," I said and walked through the door. I closed them before he could say anything. I walked over to the training grounds, and I saw that Jake was already there. He saw me and gave me a confused look. "Emma? What are you doing here?" "I was just about to go get you," he told me. Before I could say anything, he noticed how tired I looked. "Emma?" he asked, worried. "What happened?" "I am fine," I said quietly. "I couldn't sleep." "Why, beautiful?" he asked and wrapped me in his arms. "Goddess, why couldn't he be my mate?" "I found my mate," I whispered in his arms. I felt him tense, and he pulled away from me to look me in the eyes. He left his hands on my shoulders, holding me tightly. "Who is it?" he asked me. "And why are you so sad?" I couldn't answer him. Those words didn't want to leave my mouth. I looked down at my feet. "Did he?" He started talking, but he stopped himself. I looked back up at him and nodded. His eyes widened. "Oh, my goddess! I am so sorry, beautiful. You don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that." I smiled slightly and sighed. "Well, I guess it had to happen like that." "Who is he?" he asked me. "Not now," Jake. I said. We will talk after training. He nodded and wrapped me in a hug again. He kissed my forehead and walked over to his training ground. My whole training session sucked. I was so tired and distracted that I got a nice ass whopping. By the end, I was covered in bruises and cuts. Amy walked over to me with a frown on her face. Emmy, you sucked today. What happened? Why were you so distracted? I will tell you at the diner, Amy. I said. I need to go home and take a hot shower. Okay, she said, eyeing me up and down. Are you sure you are okay? I nodded and walked away. I just hoped that my brother wasn't home. I didn't want him to see me like this. It would only add to his belief that I was weak. I was lucky. He was out. But a monster waited for me at my house. Sienna. She was leaning on the kitchen counter when I walked in. She eyed me up and down and smiled wickedly. Well, if it isn't the little rejected mate, she said, smirking. You know, I always wanted to see the face of whose Luna title I would take away, but the fact that it is you only makes it better. I rolled my eyes and started walking upstairs. She ran after me and grabbed my hand, turning me around. Listen here, you, she spat in my face. I am your Luna, and you will not roll your eyes at me. My Luna is Gloria. You are just a really bad replacement. I spat back. She slapped me hard, and I fell on the floor. I should have seen that coming. She stepped on my arm with her heel. It hurt, but I didn't want to give her the pleasure of screaming. I looked up at her with a murderous look on my face. I can't wait for Logan to mark me as his. I will kill you and make it look like you ran away to be a rogue, she said quietly and walked away. I slowly got up and walked upstairs to my room. My life would be a living until Sienna finally ended me. I was sure she would make sure to torture and torment me whenever she had a chance to. Even though Logan rejected me, she still saw me as a treat. Chapter 9 Jealousy. Logan POV. Who is this Jacob guy? It has been annoying me since this morning. I mean, I know that he is one of my best warriors and he is Emma's friend. But why is he so attentive to my mate? She is not yours anymore. Leon growled. You rejected her, remember? I ignored him. He's been doing that the whole morning. He has been reminding me of what I did and pushing me away. I called my head of patrol in my office. I will find out everything I can about this Jacob guy. He was quick. He got to my office in a matter of minutes. Alpha, he addressed me. You wanted to see me? Yes. I said and sat at my desk. Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Louis. It wasn't a problem, he said and smiled. What can I do for you, Alpha? What can you tell me about a warrior named Jacob? I asked. Jacob Walters, he asked. I nodded and waited for him to go on. Well, he is an amazing young man, he said. One of our best warriors. He is strong, a very quick learner, and the other wolves love him. Why? Is there a problem? No, I said and shook my head. No problem, Louis. I just noticed him in training and saw potential in him. Oh, yes, he smiled brightly. There is a lot of potential in him. He is one of my best. I could tell Louis was proud of him. Does he have a mate? I asked, trying to sound indifferent. No, he said, shaking his head. But there is a rumor he would like to take a chosen one. He's been in love with this girl forever. Most of my boys are, to tell you the truth. He laughed, and I clenched my fists. If he was talking about Emma, I would kill somebody. Who is that girl? Emma Parker, he said. Your Beta's sister. I saw red. I clenched my fists and growled. She is mine. Louis looked at me with a shocked expression on his face. I tried to pull myself together. Thank you, Louis. You can leave, I said through my teeth. He got up quickly, clearly afraid of me, and left my office in a hurry. As soon as I heard him leave the pack house, I put my fist through the wall. Why are you angry, Logan? Leon sneered. You rejected her. Did you really think no other wolves would want her? She is beautiful and perfect. Of course, they want her. And now you get to watch another wolf have her while you suffer with Sienna. Shut up, Leon. I growled at my wolf. You are smirking like you won't be watching her be with another, just like me. Yes. But I get to shut you out and hurt you just like you did to me. He growled back. I will not watch Sienna be our mate and Luna. That place belongs to Emma. Sienna is my friend. I spat back at him. She is the worst person ever. He said. Asher thinks so as well. You and Andrew are the only blind ones. Our fight was interrupted when Andrew walked into my office. What happened? He asked, looking at the hole in my wall. Did you know that Jacob wants your sister to be his chosen mate? I asked angrily. He sighed and sat on the couch. Yes, I did. We talked about it. I growled. What did you tell him? I told him to give her a chance to meet her true mate, he said calmly. Now that she has, and you rejected her, I don't have a problem with him asking her. I growled loudly and walked over to him. He will not do that. I don't think you have a choice, Logan, he said, looking up at me. You didn't want her. He does. I whined and ran my hand through my hair. I couldn't do anything about that. I had chosen a different mate. She should have an opportunity to do the same. But it would kill me. Looking at another man touching what's mine. It would definitely kill me. There was another rogue attack. Andrew said, pulling me away from my thoughts. What? Where? I turned to him. South border, he said. Our patrol took care of it pretty quickly. Good. I sighed. It has been happening more often. Any word from other alphas? He asked. I shook my head. No, but Alpha Drake said he would call soon. We have been in touch with other alphas whose packs are frequently attacked by the rogues. We have been trying to figure out what the Rogue King wants. We didn't make any progress, unfortunately. Any rogue wolf who was captured refused to talk, even when tortured. We couldn't get them to talk. But I hope Alpha Drake will give me some good news soon. We have to get to the bottom of this, soon. Andrew sighed. We can't fight them if we don't know what they want. We will. I said and sat back down at my desk. Do you want to go grab something to eat? Andrew asked me. We could go to that diner that has those amazing burgers. I nodded. I needed to eat something. I haven't slept much and my whole body hurt like somebody beat me up good. As of a few minutes ago, my hand started throbbing. I guess punching a wall hurts more than I thought it would. But it was okay. It would stop soon. We werewolves heal really quickly. On our way out of the pack house, we ran into Sienna. She gave us a warm smile and kissed me on my cheek. Hello, mate, she said and winked at me. Hello, Sienna. I smiled. We are going to the diner to eat something. Do you want to go with us? Sure, she said and smiled brightly. Sienna would be a good mate. She was smart, pretty, and kind. And she was a good, I had to admit. She would be a great Luna. When we got close to the diner, I was hit by the most amazing smell. Strawberries and watermelon. Emma. She was inside. As soon as I got inside, my eyes searched for her. I found her sitting in a booth with her friends, Amy and Jacob. And he had his arm around her. I let go of Sienna and clenched my fists. I growled quietly. Sienna yanked on my hand, and I looked at her, irritated. She is not your mate anymore, Logan, she said angrily. I am. Before I could respond, I heard Andrew gasp. I followed his gaze and saw that he was looking at Emma. Why did he gasp? I looked closer and saw that she was covered in bruises and scrapes. I ran towards her and grabbed her upper arm. That Jacob immediately let go of her. Tingles spread through my body. That was the first time I touched her since we found out we were mates. It was the most pleasurable feeling in the world. I could only imagine what it would feel like to kiss her. Or be inside her. Logan. Stop thinking about this. Focus. What happened to you? I growled. I heard Andrew beside me. Emma, what happened to your hand? I looked at her hand and saw that it was severely bruised, like somebody had stepped on it. She glanced towards Sienna, and I could swear I saw fear in her eyes. Why was she afraid of Sienna? She looked back at us and pulled her arm from my grip. I immediately felt cold and empty. I had a rough training session, she said quietly and looked down. This is what I thought when I said she wasn't strong enough. If she was attacked by a rogue, she wouldn't be able to defend herself. But that didn't mean that I didn't want to kill who touched and hurt what belongs to me. You need to be more careful. Andrew said quietly. You mean stronger? She asked and looked at us. When we didn't respond, she sighed and looked down. I am with my friends, she said. I will see you at home, Andrew. Andrew nodded reluctantly and pulled me to our booth. I didn't want to leave her. But I had to. I couldn't take my eyes off of her the entire time we were there. I could see Sienna was annoyed, but I couldn't care less. My mate was with another male. I had to keep an eye on her. You rejected her. Leon growled. And you are with another female. I ignored him completely and continued to stare at her. Goddess, she was beautiful. Chapter 10 Tired. Emma POV. I felt Logan's eyes on me the entire night. I didn't look up at him once. Every time Jacob touched me, there was a low, menacing growl coming from his direction. What was his problem? He was the one who rejected me. He was the one who was sitting there with his new mate and future Luna. Before they came to the diner, I told Amy and Jacob about me and Logan. They were shocked to hear that he had rejected me and that he had chosen Sienna as his mate. They knew all about her and they were the only ones who believed me. So it wasn't hard for them to believe that I was telling the truth about her. I want to kill her for doing that to your hand, beautiful. Jacob said quietly. It's okay, Jake. I said. I will heal. No, it is not okay, Emmy. Amy whined. She hurt you. Until now she only used her words, but I am afraid of how far she is willing to go now. Amy is right. Jake nodded. She hates the fact that you are Logan's mate. I am afraid of what she could do. Maybe I could talk to Alpha and Beta. No, Jacob. I said and grabbed his hand. Promise me you won't do that. They won't believe you. Trust me. I've tried telling my brother about her more than once. He just doesn't want to believe that his friend is a Just let it go. It will be okay. I will be okay. She will forget about me once Logan marks her. I will no longer be a threat to her when that happens. Amy and Jake exchanged worried looks. Fine. Jacob sighed and put his arm around my shoulders. A louder growl came from Logan's booth. He immediately let go of me. Why did you have to be mated to an alpha? He asked, irritated. His energy alone is making it impossible for me to touch you. I have to submit, even to his growls. I don't want to lose an arm. I chuckled. I am sorry, Jacob. It will get better. When he marks Sienna, he will forget about me. I hope so, he said and gave me a warm smile. I smiled back and sighed. Well, I should go home. You didn't eat anything. Amy said. I'll eat at home. I said and smiled. That was a lie. I didn't have an appetite. If I ate something, I would throw it all up anyway. The three of us walked out of the diner followed by an intense gaze. I sighed and rolled my eyes. For somebody who didn't want me as his mate, he sure stared a lot. Amy and Jacob hugged me goodbye, and I walked to my house. When I got inside, I immediately started walking upstairs. I was stopped abruptly when two large hands grabbed my waist and pulled me back. You are not locking yourself in your room again. Andrew growled in my ear. I was so lost in my thoughts that I didn't even hear him walking behind me. I don't want to talk to you, I said and tried to wiggle out of his grip. It was useless. He only tightened his grip and picked me up. He walked over to the couch and put me down on my feet. He grabbed my hand and pulled me down to sit on the couch. He sat beside me and tilted my chin so I would look at him. You are my sister. The only family I have, he growled at me. I am not letting another day go by without talking to you. I don't have anything to say, I said quietly. I am sorry, Emma, he said, cupping my face. I am so sorry. You think I am weak? I said quietly, and a tear rolled down my face. He looked down, ashamed. I told him you could get stronger. I think you are more than worthy of being a Luna. But he only sees the physical aspect of things. He doesn't see how strong you are in other aspects of life. I kept quiet. They didn't know that I have been training with Jacob. I was stronger than they thought I was. But me being covered in bruises and scrapes after training today, didn't help my case. But it only happened because I didn't sleep. I was so tired. I still am. But it shouldn't matter. He should want me the way I am, physically weak or physically strong. It shouldn't matter. I knew I would be a great Luna. Too bad they didn't see it that way. I love you, Emma, he said when I didn't respond. You are the most important thing in my world. Please forgive me. I was thinking like a beta, not like a brother. But when it comes to the issues related to the pack, I have to think like that. I am really sorry. I knew that he and Logan had to think about the pack first. It was their job, their duty. My father would be proud of Andrew. But I think they at least should have given me a chance to prove myself. Especially Logan. He immediately assumed I wouldn't be good enough. But I couldn't stay mad at my brother forever. He was the only family I had. I love you too, Andrew, I said. And I understand you have to think about the pack. Dad would be proud of you. He wrapped me in a tight hug and kissed my cheek. Does that mean you won't lock yourself in your room anymore? He asked, still holding me tight. I chuckled and nodded. I won't. Good, he said and let me go. Dinner and a movie. I shook my head. I am really tired. And I already ate. He narrowed his eyes at me. Did you? Yes. I lied. At the diner. Okay, he said, still suspicious. Tomorrow night then. I smiled and nodded. We got up, and I walked over to the stairs. Andrew kissed my forehead before going to the kitchen to make himself something to eat. I was always surprised by the amount of food he could eat. He literally just ate at the diner, and he was making himself something to eat again. I chuckled quietly and shook my head. I walked into my bathroom and hopped into the shower. Bruises and cuts were already healed, but my hand was still bruised. Sienna stepped on it pretty good. I finished showering and put on my pajamas. I got under the covers and closed my eyes. I hoped that I would get some sleep tonight. Chapter 11 Broken. Emma POV. My wish didn't come true. I kept tossing and turning, and I couldn't sleep. Pain was burning through me, and I couldn't stop it. I looked at myself in the mirror and sighed. I look even paler than usual. My eyes are red and puffy from crying. I sighed and put on my sneakers. I had to hurry up, or I would be late for my training session. Today was the day I would train with Jake as well. But I didn't think that I would be able to do that. I would just have to come up with an excuse. I walked downstairs to the kitchen to grab a glass of water before going to the training grounds. Sienna was sitting at the table. Alone. She looked up at me with a murderous look on her face. Why does she hate me so much? If you think that you will be taking Logan away from me, you are mistaken, she growled. I sighed and walked to the kitchen cabinet. I took a glass and filled it with water. Did you hear me? She asked. I turned around and sipped my water. I did. What did I tell you about disrespecting your Luna? She asked and got up. I already told you. I said, looking right into her eyes. You are not my Luna. She walked over to me. She was furious. She grabbed my wrist, digging her nails into my skin. Listen to me, you, she said quietly. Logan is mine. You will not take him away from me. Do you understand? I will kill you. And that is a promise. I forcefully pulled my arm away from her grip and gave myself deep scratches from her nails. I took a few steps back from her. I was furious. She has been nothing but mean to me my whole life. And now she has started to be physically abusive, threatening to kill me. I was done. You are such a Sienna, I said loudly. At that moment, I heard the front door open and my name being called. Emma, my brother yelled. Sienna gave me an evil smirk and made the saddest face she could. My brother and Logan walked into the kitchen. Both were glaring at me. Both were angry. Emma, my brother said strictly. What is going on? I was looking at him wide-eyed. I didn't know what to say. I knew that they wouldn't believe me. They obviously didn't hear what Sienna said. They would be looking at her with that expression, not me. At least I hoped they would. I was just trying to talk to her about this whole mate thing. Sienna said with a teary voice. Apologize. Make sure there is no bad blood between us. We are sisters. I guess she is taking this really hard. She was such a good liar. I was actually impressed. I stared at her without saying a word. I didn't even know what to say. Emma, I know this is hard for you. Logan said. But you can't talk to your future Luna like that. I averted my gaze to him. When my eyes met his, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I felt tears coming and I was not giving them the satisfaction of seeing me break in front of them. I immediately turned around and ran through the back door. Emma, my brother yelled after me. It is okay, Andrew. Let her go. Sienna said, faking sadness. She just needs a minute to calm down. My tears ran down my cheeks and I didn't even try to stop them. She was slowly taking everything from me. My brother, my mate, my life. And nobody saw it. Nobody believed me. I suddenly wished for her to fulfill her promise of killing me. That would be easier than living with this pain. I arrived at the training grounds just in time for my session. I was in no shape to train. I haven't slept and haven't eaten anything since my birthday, 2 days ago. But I needed it. I needed the physical pain. After half an hour of training, my ribs got broken during a sparring with another she-wolf, Katie. I took a sharp breath and fell on my knees. Oh, my goddess, Emma! Katie yelled and fell on her knees beside me. Are you okay? I am sorry. It is okay, Katie. I said, taking a few deep breaths. It is my fault. I got distracted. Amy and Jake came running over to me. Amy! Amy yelled. What happened? I think her ribs are broken. Katie said while helping Amy pull me back on my feet. I winced in pain and before I knew it, 2 strong arms picked me up bridal style. Jake, I am fine. You don't have to carry me. I protested. Stop it, Emma, he growled. I am not letting you walk around with broken ribs. I quieted down and let him carry me to the pack doctor's office. Amy and Katie were walking behind us, both eyeing me with concern. When we arrived, Jake placed me down on the bed as gently as he could. The nurse told us that the doctor would be in soon and left. She gave me a warm smile on her way out. Katie, would you mind waiting outside? Jake asked her. There is something Amy and I need to talk to Emma about. Of course, she said and smiled. She walked outside and closed the door. I looked at Jake. He was looking at me like a father looks at his child when a child messed up pretty badly. What happened out there, Emma? He growled. I sighed and winced. I was tired. I lost my focus. You never lose focus on a battlefield, Emma, he growled again. Never. Jake, calm down. Amy interfered. Let her explain. She looked at me with a questioning look on her face. They were not letting this go, were they? I sighed. I haven't slept since my birthday, okay? I was tired, and she caught me off guard. Jake growled loudly. You should have never stepped foot on that training ground today. This could have ended up so much worse. I am sorry, Jake. I said quietly, staring down at my hands. He started pacing the room, running his hand through his hair. He was mad at me. But it was touching to see how much he cared about me. Amy ignored his outburst and took my hand in hers. How about you come over to my house tonight? Amy asked, smiling down at me. We could order a pizza, watch a movie, maybe even sleep. She winked at me, and I laughed before wincing. Laughing hurt. Well, everything hurt when your ribs are broken. I really wanted to go. I needed a break from everything going on at my house. I didn't want to wake up tomorrow and see Sienna. Especially now that I was a much slower target. And maybe I would be able to get some sleep after a relaxing night with my friend. Before I could answer, the door flung open and my brother and Logan ran inside. Chapter 12, I Can Feel You. Logan POV. When Emma ran away from the kitchen, I felt my heart clench painfully. Go after her, you. Leon growled. Go after my mate. She insulted our future Luna. I growled back. Sienna will never be my Luna. He yelled and retreated to the back of my mind, cutting our link. I could feel how mad he was, but I ignored it. Andrew and Sienna came back inside and sat at the table. I joined them and looked at Andrew. He was worried. His eyebrows were furrowed, and he was staring down at his hands. Don't worry, Andrew, Sienna said and placed her hand on his shoulder. She will be okay. She just needs time to process all of this. Sienna was so kind and forgiving. She would be a great Luna. I was sure of that. I gave her a warm smile. I am sorry, Sienna. Andrew sighed. You didn't deserve that. I will talk to her. She squeezed his shoulder and smiled at him warmly. Andrew looked up at me and his face got serious. He was in beta mode now. It was time to work. So, Alpha Drake is coming the day after tomorrow, he asked me. I nodded. Yes, and we will be having a formal dinner. I want him to feel welcome in our pack and for his stay to be as pleasant as possible. Who will be joining him? Sienna asked. His beta Josh and 5 warriors. They don't want any trouble on their trip. I said. No Luna? Andrew asked. I shook my head. No. He still hasn't found his mate and refuses to take a chosen one. He was a year older than me and still had no mate. It was unusual for an alpha wolf to be mateless at our age, but we both wanted to wait for our true mate. We spent the next half an hour arranging their stay and talking about the formal dinner. Everything had to be done to perfection. My pack has a reputation, and I was keeping it. When will the meeting take place? Andrew asked. The main reason for Alpha Drake's visit was to tell me what he had found out about rogue attacks. I was planning on having the meeting with them the day after their arrival. I was just about to answer Andrew's question when a sharp pain struck my left side. I gasped and bent over. Logan! Andrew yelled and came rushing to me. Sienna stood up and came to my other side with a worried expression on her face. I looked down, expecting to see some sort of a sharp object lunged into me, but there was nothing. And then it hit me. It wasn't my pain. Emma. I said quietly. What? Andrew asked, confused. It's Emma. I said louder. It is Emma's pain. Something is wrong. Andrew stood up immediately and ran through the back door, me following right behind him. He was running towards the training grounds. She must have been in a session. It only took us a few minutes to get there. Being an alpha and beta meant that we were faster and stronger than other wolves. I searched frantically for her, but I couldn't find her anywhere. One of my warriors noticed us and walked over. Alpha, beta, he said. Can I help you? Yes. Andrew said quickly. My sister, Emma, where is she? He looked between us. She was taken to the hospital. She fractured her ribs while sparring with another she-wolf. I was running towards the pack doctor's office before the man finished speaking. I heard Andrew right behind me. I saw red. My mate was hurt. She was in pain. My mate needed me. Leon was howling and growling inside my head, and he wasn't helping one bit. I was shaking and I needed to see her. I needed to know that she would be okay. Before I knew it, Andrew and I burst through the door. She was lying in bed. Her friend Amy was holding her hand, and Jacob was pacing the room. The three of them looked at us with wide eyes. Both Andrew and I walked over to her, and when I got closer, I could smell Jacob on her. He probably carried her in here. That was my job. I was supposed to be the one who brought her here. I was supposed to be the one taking care of her. I clenched my fists and growled loudly. I had to use all my strength to control myself and not kill. He touched my mate. He should be dying right now. What happened, Em? Andrew asked her and took her other hand in his. She hadn't slept since her birthday but still decided it was a good idea to fight. Jake answered before she could. Andrew and I looked at him with shocked expressions on our faces. She hasn't been sleeping? Before we could say anything to her, our pack doctor, Ren Adams, walked in. Alpha Logan, Beta Andrew, he said and smiled at us. Both Andrew and I gave him a short nod and looked at Emma, frowning. Oh, she was going to hear from me after the checkup. And by the look on Andrew's face, she was in for a double lecture. Well, if it isn't my favorite little wolf, the doctor said with a big smile on his face. What happened, Emma? Sparing accident, she said quietly. Oh, I see many of those, the doctor said and lifted her shirt. A growl escaped me. He was touching my mate. The doctor ignored me completely and proceeded to remove Emma's shirt to look at her ribs. There was a huge bruise from her stomach to her back, and my heart hurt looking at it. I heard Andrew gasp at the sight. The doctor touched her and she winced in pain. I growled loudly. I wanted to rip his arms out. No need for that, mate, the doctor said, not looking up at me. I am just doing my job. He knew. I tensed up and I could see Andrew looking at me from the corner of his eye. Well, you are not being very subtle, man. Andrew mind-linked me. I ignored him and continued to watch as the doctor checked my mate. Well, Emma, it seems that 2 of your ribs are broken, he said and pulled her shirt down carefully. You need to rest. Now that you have your wolf, it should heal in a day or 2. But I want you to rest. No activities of any sort. You can be sure of that, doctor. Andrew said, still frowning. The doctor gave Emma some painkillers and said goodbye to all of us. As soon as he left the room, I looked at my mate with a strict expression on my face. What were you thinking, Emma? I growled. The rest of the audiobook will be continued in the next episode. Join us on Patreon for early access or more great audiobooks. A link is provided in the video description.